Big game and a battle of backup quarterbacks, at least to start. Matt Nichols. He gets it again with Mike Riley suffering that foot injury against the BC Lions a couple of weeks ago up against the veteran Kerry Joseph. Hey, they were teammates a couple of years ago in a playoff game with Joseph getting the start. His last playoff win in the 2007 Grey Cup game in Toronto. Trying to add to that as we welcome you back to part 2 of our CFL on TSN doubleheader, the Western semifinal for the right to go to McMahon Stadium in Calgary next week. Milt Stegall, Matt Dunnigan, and Chris Schultz for this one here. Well, it's interesting when you consider that they played last week in what amounted to really a meaningless game. It did give Saskatchewan third place, hence this rematch with the Eskimos. Schultz. Aside from that, though, I don't know what we can take of that. Do we take anything from that 24-17 Saskatchewan victory?
Was it meaningless? Was it? I don't think it was meaningless at all. I think every now and then you go into a game and 90% of the time you have a plan. If they do this, we'll do that. If they run this, we'll run that. But every now and then a situation comes up and you go into the game and you've got to have an attitude. You have to have an aggressive attitude that you're not necessarily going to get sophisticated and try to trick people or outthink people. You're going to get physical. You're going to create collisions on the offense and the defensive line. If Saskatchewan's got to win this game, it's got to be about attitude. And I believe that started last week. They ran for almost 200 yards. I give them a chance to win this game if they come out with an attitude.
Well,
attitude.
Edmonton, don't get me wrong, they wanted to win that game, but if Chris Jones really wanted to win that game, do you think he sits down his leading receiver on his team in the CFL and his running back? Do you really think he wants to win that game?
No, I'm not saying they didn't want to win. I'm saying they can win the game today if they have an attitude.
We're talking about does last week have any bearing on this
remember
week?
that altercation
What he's talking about is it meant something for Saskatchewan. For Edmonton, clearly the way they played last week and sitting down those two guys you talk about, it didn't matter to them at all. They just wanted to get to this week, and I think they're going to take that pedal and go bang.
They're going to
push it down, much like we saw Montreal in the previous game do the same thing to the BC Lions when last week they half-stepped it in Hamilton, in my opinion.
Well, I think Edmonton can assume regular season doesn't mean anything now. If they can win this game, they're going to want to think that way next week in Calgary anyway. But Saskatchewan has something to say about that. They're counting on a trip to McMahon. They start getting it decided. Chile Commonwealth coming up here on TSN.
And those of you watching in the United States on ESPN, it's the Western Division semifinal. There is more than a chill in the air in northern Alberta today. There is excitement. There is hostility. This is the biggest game of the season. Win this one, you move on to Calgary next week.
Yeah, the great storylines here. You look at the quarterbacks playing today. Kerry Joseph, 41 years old, looking for his first playoff victory since the 2007 Grey Cup. Opposite him, making the first playoff start of his career, the former Eastern Washington star Matt Nichols. Not just his first career playoff start, but looking for his first victory as a CFL starter.
Chris Jones, first year with the Edmonton Eskimos, has never not been in the playoffs. He's used to this stuff. What a dramatic turnaround for the Eskimos this season. 8 more wins than last year. Last year they were spectators watching the playoffs at home. The Eskimos were, and his good friend, they go back a long time, Corey Chamberlain. What did he do last year? Nothing more than win the Grey Cup.
It's a whole new team for Corey Chamberlain and the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. Carving out a new identity. It's been a different path to this point. It'll be a different road through the playoffs. But he likes the team that he's got around him.
You can see everybody bundled up. Minus 10 degrees Celsius right now. Feels like minus 16. Could get colder. Mike Riley, lower leg injury is what they are saying. Some people say a broken foot. He chatted with us yesterday. He said he's not that mobile right now. The good news is it's so cold, his foot would be frozen.
Yeah, no need to shoot anything up with the cold today. It'll all be a little bit numb in the extremities. But Mike Riley has been one of the top performers in the Canadian Football League this season. This team 12-3 when he starts at quarterback, 0-3 when he doesn't this season.
Looks like he might just be a spectator today and a cheerleader on the sideline. Darian Durant definitely will not play.
Yeah, and a very similar impact when you look at his team. When Darian Durant started this season, first 10 games of the year, the Saskatchewan Roughriders were 8-2. Without Darian Durant, just 2-6. And they've lost 4 straight on the road.
Torn tendon in his elbow. Not sure about moving on after this, if he would be available next week. But forget about next week. It's all about today. Right now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will kick it off. Matt Nichols ready to bring his offense on the field. Chris Milo puts it on the tee. We're ready to roll here. The Montreal Alouettes winning the East semifinal earlier today. They'll meet Hamilton next week. The winner of this meets Calgary in the West final next week. Green and white, green and gold. On the road to the gray. We're underway at Commonwealth Stadium. Kendall Lawrence bursts up the middle near the 37-yard line. Matt Nichols, the starter in this game. Our starters to watch are brought to you by Napa Auto Parts, where custom advice comes standard.
Yeah, and for the Edmonton Eskimos, Matt Nichols has got a lot of weapons around him, and these are the key guys in the middle. Darius Bowman, the CFL's runaway leader in receiving, over 1,400 yards for him. John White, second in the league with almost 95 rushing yards a game. Kendall Lawrence, second in the league in terms of combined yards. He's been particularly effective against Saskatchewan.
Expect to see a lot of this. Sean White gets the first touch. It's a pitch. Expect to see a lot of running today, a lot of ground game, 9-yard pickup, mostly because of the elements, but also because of the quarterbacks who are playing.
Yeah, and you look at the strengths for both of these teams. A little bit of what you want to avoid with Saskatchewan is the pass rush. John Chick led the league with 15 sacks. Ricky Foley, Terrius George not far behind at 12 apiece. Tyrone Brackenridge, obviously a game changer at free safety. He has a nose for the football, and Brian Peters has been terrific. He'll start at the weak side linebacker spot today.
Here's White again. He's got a first down. He's got more. John White into Saskatchewan territory. They finally bring him down near the 40-yard line, and back-to-back, John White, former star in Utah, the guy they call Wolfman, tears it up for 25 yards.
Biggest game of the year for John White came against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Great job blocking on the inside of that offensive line. There's been a little bit of a shuffle up front for the S. We'll talk about that going forward. But John White had 192 yards in a regular season meeting with Saskatchewan this year.
Nichols throws. Calvin McCarty bowls forward inside the 30-yard line. First pass complete from Matt Nichols. An 11-yard gain.
And there they go to the play action. Because of the success they've had running the ball against the Riders this season. Look at John White, as you heard the fellas on the panel mention. He sat out last week, the season finale against Saskatchewan, but he had done more than enough damage in the first two meetings, both Edmonton victories, accounting for about 300 yards.
The Eskimos have 4 All-Stars, Western All-Stars on offense. They all sat out last week, including this guy, Darius Bowman. Sensational season for the CFL's leading receiver. First of all, durable. He played in every game, and he went over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, you look at Darius Bowman. He had missed a season and a half. Basically, the entire 2012 season, got hurt in week 2. Missed all of the remainder of that season, missed the first half of 2013, but since he's been back, he has been virtually unstoppable for the Eskimos.
Second down and 5. Nichols now, pocket closes, on the run, against the grain, and the pass is caught by McCarty. To see where the spot is, there's a penalty flag back at the 29-yard line as Nichols was rolling out. Our referee is Andre Prue.
Holding. Edmonton number 68. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Thaddeus Coleman, right tackle, hits his first start since week 2 at that position.
Yeah, and he's going to have his hands full. This is a shuffle with Simeon Rotier out. They've gone to 3 internationals on the O-line. Coleman draws back in at right tackle. So you've got a guy who hasn't played since week 2. And he gets a steady dose of John Chick and Ricky Foley. 27 combined sacks this year.
Second and 15. Out of the backfield is Lawrence, and he's brought down. Good tackle by free safety Tyrone Brackenridge. 3-yard pickup. This will bring out the field goal unit now. Eskimos will try to put the first points of this Western semifinal on the board.
And there you see Kendall Lawrence, the guy who had 41 catches this season. Nearly half of those, 19, came in the 3 games against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You know he's going to be involved here a lot, both in the run and pass games.
Here is the bearded Hugh O'Neill. This will come from the 37. A cold, wintry day in Edmonton. O'Neill puts it up, and he puts it through. The Eskimos strike first. And it's a former Eskimo who will bring his offense on the field. A guy who was the most outstanding player a few years ago for Saskatchewan and won them a Grey Cup back in 2007. He's their answer right now. Kerry Joseph. Grey Cup champions. With a guy who won them the Grey Cup back in 2007. Vintage Kerry Joseph, 41 years old. At the helm with Darian Durant injured. Brought down by a gang of green. Newcomer Stephen Miller.
One of the keys for Saskatchewan today, and you see them trying to establish the run game early, but it's going to be that offensive line. Chris Best was the last missing piece. He missed the last couple games. They haven't had this starting 5 together since late August. Anthony Allen, second in the league in total rushing yards. He'll be a factor in combination with Miller today. Rob Bagg became the go-to guy in that receiving corps this season. He's had almost 200 yards in his last 3 outings.
Throwing down, 2nd and 10. Great protection for Joseph. Loads of time, flings it out in the backfield for Anthony Allen, who's brought down by Eddie Steele on the far side. A very quick 2-and-out. Something we'll have to monitor today. The Roughriders offensively struggling without Darian Durant. Had the most 2-and-outs offensively of any team in the league. Edmonton's defense elicited the most 2-and-outs.
Yeah, that's with this group of playmakers. Odell Willis tied a career high in sacks this year. Dexter McCoy, of course, a phenomenal rookie season, a finalist for Rookie of the Year. And Armando Sewell, one of the league's most underrated players, outstanding at defensive tackle.
Josh Bartell moving that ball that must feel like a brick. 37-yarder. Kendall Lawrence steps out of bounds. A few months ago, the marquee would have been Durant against Riley. It's Joseph against Nichols. Matt Nichols and his Eskimos leading 3-0 early in the Western Division semifinal. Battle of the backups today. With more, let's go down to Sarah Orleski.
Thank you, Rod. Yeah, we were speaking with Mike Riley. We didn't know whether or not he would be able to play tonight, how much we would see from him. Well, it looks like, unless it's an absolutely necessary scenario, it will be Matt Nichols' show to run the whole way, with the newly signed Justin Goltz being used in short yardage situation. Darian Durant physically ready to go. Mentally, though, Corey Chamberlain says he has to be ready to take the hit. They didn't feel that he was in that position to do that. They will see if they get to the West Final what he's like, but they said you can't protect him. You have to protect him both mentally and physically.
Loss of 4 on the play. Thank you, Sarah. You mentioned Justin Goltz. We see Darian Durant. The Eskimos, of course, had Pat White, the lefty, who could really scramble with the football if needed, but he's injured as well, so they had to go to Goltz. And who knows, we may even see some of Justin Goltz today. Right now, it's Nichols. 2nd and 14 after that great stop by Tristan Jackson. John White on the near sideline. Knocked out of bounds by Weldon Brown, who makes a shift in their rotation defensively. A pickup of 8, but that will bring out the kick team once again.
A nice job there by the Riders, sitting back, knowing in that 2nd and long situation, take away the deep stuff, come up and make a play on that underneath completion to the back.
West End wrestler who missed most of the first part of the season down in the National Football League with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's already returned 2 this year, not this time. Brought down. A 44-yard kick near his 20-yard line.
Former Acadia Axeman, Mike Miller. Long a stalwart on special teams. He's in on the tackle, and in, of course, as well, Dion Lacey, the CFL's leader in special teams tackles. Only player in the CFL this season, in fact, to get at least one special teams tackle in each of his team's 18 regular season games. A couple of Warriors out there in green and gold.
High snap. And is smothered at the line of scrimmage. Nothing offensively yet for Kerry Joseph, who says today is all about letting the game come to him.
Just not being too hard on myself, not putting any added pressure on myself, trying to do too much. Just, like I said, just go out there and look at it as a very important football game, but just another football game. And just do what I've known to do over my career, and do whatever I need to do to help this team come out with a W.
2nd down and 9. Eskimos were showing blitz. Now they retreat. Rush 4, delayed draw. And Anthony Allen is stopped by Dexter McCoyle. What an outstanding rookie season Dexter McCoyle had in the Canadian Football League.
Well, a lot of similarities between Dexter McCoyle in his first year, Brian Peters in his second year. Both guys outstanding safeties in college, and you see the range, the mobility, the ability to make plays in space that have made Dexter McCoyle such an impact player here in his first Canadian Football League season.
Not only a lot of tackles, but a lot of turnovers and game changers and touchdowns. Nominated for most outstanding rookie in the West. Lawrence, penalty flag down, a 40-yard boot. Looked like they were within that 5-yard halo. Not sure if it was no yards or an illegal block here. So it's going against the Eskimos.
During the return, illegal block. Edmonton number 9, 10-yard penalty. 1st down Edmonton.
So take it back 10, and the Eskimos come back out here for the 3rd series. What a year for Dexter McCoyle. Bullseye on the Roughriders today. Edmonton leads 3-0. Northern Alberta and Edmonton. Eskimos and Roughriders. Western Division semifinal. 3-0 Eskimos early on, and Matt Nichols is going to complain to Andre Prue. They're going to call that intentional grounding, it looks like. He's saying there was a receiver in the vicinity.
And I'm not so convinced. He may have a tough time selling this. He's suggesting, looked like John White may have been the closest, but
there is no infraction on the play. Number 81, Edmonton, was in the vicinity where the ball landed. No infraction on the play, incomplete pass, 2nd down.
And Matt Nichols gets away with that one.
12, Andre, got 12.
Take a quick peek. They're saying 81. Devin Bailey was in the area. John White actually was in the area, attempting to release. So although an intentional throw away by Nichols behind the line of scrimmage, no flag.
2nd down, 10. Nichols escapes for a moment and then is dropped by Tyron Brackenridge.
You can see that one coming as Brackenridge timed up his initial blitz, got tripped up once at the line of scrimmage, but kept fighting through. Here he comes. Gonna hit it on the inside. Loops to the A gap. You just see him lose his footing before he can get there. But Brackenridge recovers in time to get that sack and force the Eskimos to punt it away.
3rd and 20. Roughriders should get good field position here. One hopper for Dressler. Trying to find it outside. Spins, and once again, Mike Miller down there to make the tackle. Tyron Brackenridge, 3rd sack of 2014, 1st of the playoffs. For the sack squad from Regina.
The only thing that matters is every man in this room playing his part. The only thing that matters is every man in this room coming together for a championship. That's the only thing that matters is what's in this room. When they write about the 2014 Grey Cup champions, let them write about a bunch of men that it wasn't about the name, it wasn't about the hype, it was all about the heart.
Make sure that you play smart. Do not put yourself above the entire team. You understand there's going to be some chippiness going on out there. Understand, worry about what matters, and that's winning the football game. Everybody straight with that? Sure. Hey, we as coaches can't wait to see you play, man. We got the best seat in the house. Go fly around because it's a pretty thing. When you play fast, it's a pretty thing. Go win this football game. Go.
Well, both coaches with their words of inspiration before this one. Two guys who a long-standing connection. Corey Chamberlain and Chris Jones. There was a penalty on that last return. Two penalties, as a matter of fact, against Saskatchewan, holding and an illegal block. They move it back 10 yards. So Kerry Joseph scrimmages at the 28. Changes the play here. Eskimos look to rush 4. Hands it off again to Anthony Allen and tries to churn up the right side. A year ago, of course, when they were the Grey Cup champions, Corey Sheets was the mainstay. The Roughriders trying to find that replacement, and Anthony Allen gives the Roughriders their first down of this ballgame.
They do a nice job on the right side of the offensive line here. Fullback Kronk, right tackle Ben Heenan getting that kick out on Odell Willis, widening him out, creating that off-tackle run lane for Anthony Allen.
Second in the CFL and rushing behind John Cornish. Calgary Stampeders, who wait in the wings for next week. Here come the Eskimos. There goes the football. It's a wobbler. It's picked up by Aaron Grimes. First turnover. First takeaway goes to the Eskimos.
They're going to bring the blitz. Keep an eye on Alonzo Lawrence coming off the offensive left side. Anthony Allen's got the blocking responsibility there, but doesn't get enough of him. Gives him a soft shoulder, allowing him to get to Kerry Joseph. They got pressure from McCoyle on the other side. Kerry Joseph throws it up instead of pulling it down and taking off. The result is an interception from Aaron Grimes. Grimes had 3 on the regular season.
21 picks by the Eskimos this season. A team that was not only #1 defensively, but #1 offensively. Most yards gained and fewest yards allowed. And this time, Kerry Joseph would love to have that back. Threw up a duck.
And you'd like to see the backs in that situation step up, meet their blocking responsibilities closer to the line of scrimmage so that their quarterback doesn't feel that pressure.
Throwing down for Nichols. And he heaves it, and it could be picked, and it should have been picked by Terrell Mays. A similar play with a heat on. A wobbler is thrown up, and Terrell Mays could have had an interception right back.
And you're going to see the pocket gets dented straight up the middle from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Nice job there. It's Derek Walker at defensive tackle. Just denting the pocket and getting to the quarterback. Nichols came up shaking his throwing hand a little bit. Took a bit of a shot there.
42-yarder for Hugh O'Neill, and he hooks it in. The turnaround for the bearded wonder this year. Grant Shaw got hurt. Hugh O'Neill took over. And has done a lot of that. It's a 6-0 Eskimo lead with 3:50 to go in the first. Here in the divisional semifinal next Sunday, high noon. The divisional finals. East final, Montreal and Hamilton. And in the West, Calgary, and the winner of this game earlier today, the Alouettes crushed the BC Lions. It was only 1-0 after the first quarter. The final score was 50-17.
Yeah, the Montreal Alouettes sending a very clear message that they wanted to avenge that season finale loss to the Hamilton Tiger Cats that would have given them first place in the East.
Joseph back to pass. He's got a deep shot here into tight coverage. It's picked again. Chris Ravicamba back-to-back picks thrown by Kerry Joseph. Rabakamba's first interception of 2014 comes in the postseason.
Kerry Joseph has Weston Dressler going deep here. And he gets locked in on Dressler. Aaron Grimes in that hip pocket. Free safety Rabakamba coming over top to help out. Reads that one all the way. Former Duke Blue Devil and Hamilton Tiger Cat, native of Windsor, Ontario, Rabakamba.
Let's go.
Coming up with a big play here. Second first quarter interception here for the Edmonton Eskimos.
What's up, Trish? What's up?
Frustration mounts early on here for Kerry Joseph, the former Eskimo, the former Argo, former Ottawa Renegade. That's when he burst into the CFL, and of course, the former Roughrider. Back in the saddle, his team down 6-0. Matt Nichols now trying to capitalize for the Eskimos. Inside handoff to Kendall Lawrence, former Missouri Tiger, a guy who also played in the Italian Football League a few years ago. He's been around. And this guy has been nothing but sensational this season for the Edmonton Eskimos. An 11-yard gain.
This is part of what makes Edmonton so good in terms of their running attack. They come at you from so many different directions. John White's been doing the damage so far. Well, he's going to lead to the outside. Remember, we saw him on toss. Lawrence is going to come out of the slot to take that handoff with John White as a lead blocker.
Nichols sideline, and Darius Bowman trying to slide underneath and skinning to that sideline, could not come up with the football. It'll be second down and 10 now, close to that midfield stripe.
Edmonton loses a chunk of their run game with Mike Riley out of that lineup. But in Lawrence and White, they still force you to defend from a lot of different points of attack, a lot of different angles. You always have to account for where both those guys are in run situations.
Nichols on the roll. Look out! Hammered! Absolutely crushed. Penalty flag on the play. And another penalty flag. And these two teams who got into it last week. A nasty rivalry that gets even nastier when they play each other with frequency like they have of late. 3 times over the last 6 weeks, 4 in the last 7. Both teams talked about the hate on between the two sides yesterday.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Saskatchewan number 22. Objectionable conduct, Edmonton number 31 will go up 5 yards, automatic first down.
So Diamond Ferry roughing the passer, and then Calvin McCarty for objectionable conduct.
And you'll see Diamond Ferry just to the left side of the post. He's going to track Matt Nichols across as he starts to roll. And then when he sees an opportunity to head upfield, there it is, lowers the boom.
Matt Nichols takes a shot to the helmet, lucky to get up.
A very fortunate big collision.
First and 10, and spinning again is John White.
Number 30, John White, fighting for yardage against over the Saskatchewan 40.
And I will point out on that last hit, they're calling the contact to the head, but to Diamond Ferry's credit, he led with his shoulder. He didn't lead helmet first, and Nichols to me looked like he was kind of starting to fall back, which again, it's been called consistently all year, regardless of the relative position of the quarterback. But it's one of those that's a tough call because I don't think it was an intentional headshot.
Little broken play in the backfield. White got some positive yardage out of it on second down. This will depend on the spot. It's a 3-yard gain. It looks like it will be 3rd down and 2. Maybe a long 2, almost 3 yards. Nichols wants to stay in here. Looks like the Eskimos are going for it on 3rd down. 3rd and 2.
You get into this range of the field where it's a little bit farther, then you want to attempt a field goal, but you feel like a punt is going to go into the end zone rather than being for good field position.
They hand it off. White dances up the middle, slashes for the first down. Some big games against the Saskatchewan Roughriders this year. Has 7 on that third down gamble.
And here you see it opens up pretty well. Kelvin McCarty with a nice block on the DN. Ricky Foley, the key to that play. And John White making it. You see McCarty with the cross motion gets that cut block that takes Foley out of the mix.
Play action. Over the top looking for Bowman again. Good coverage again by Weldon Brown. It'll be second down. There is White, the guy who's got a tattoo of a wolf on his chest. He calls himself the Wolf Man. He was howling this year against Saskatchewan.
On his 192-yard game against Saskatchewan, the highest single game total for anyone in the CFL this year. Also led in carries of 20-plus yards. A big play threat. The speedster. And a great addition to that backfield.
Final play. First corner. End zone. Bowman had it. Blanket coverage from Terrell Mays, who just saved a touchdown. Outstanding one-on-one coverage here. Bowman watched by Mays.
Well, this one's going to haunt Darius Bowman. Matt Nichols threw it perfectly to let the big receiver go up and get it, but Mays does a nice job. He's not in too early. Gets on the arms to prevent Bowman from securing it. Couldn't have been any closer.
Teams will change ends. First quarter complete. The Eskimos get a couple of turnovers on interceptions by Kerry Joseph. They lead 6-0 in the Western semifinal in Edmonton. Leading the way right now percentage-wise. Kerry Joseph has thrown 2 interceptions. The good news for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, it could be a lot worse than it is right now. It's only 6-0 Edmonton.
Yeah, it certainly could, but the one thing I'd like to see Saskatchewan do is adjust that offensive game plan a little bit to resemble that of the Edmonton Eskimos a little bit more with your backup quarterback in the game. 2 statistics that correlate so far. Edmonton dominating in terms of time of possession goes along with the fact that Saskatchewan has thrown those 2 interceptions. You've got Edmonton relying on their run game, controlling the clock, controlling the ball, and then they can go to play action when they want to throw the football. It's not putting pressure on their quarterback. By contrast, Edmonton or Saskatchewan throwing the football, relying on Kerry Joseph, and I felt that he tried to force it a couple of times there that led to the 2 picks.
Will this one? No, it will not. It will be wide left. Hugh O'Neill was 2 for 2, and he misses this, so victory of sorts for the Saskatchewan Roughriders right now. We're trying to settle themselves into this game again for many reasons. As Chris Jones sends that D out there, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have to have a sense of discomfort knowing that they don't have Darian Durant. As we take a look at this wide kick by O'Neill, and it is a 7-0 game.
Well, this is the thing for Saskatchewan. It's a 1-possession football game.
Yeah.
They're 1 play away from it being a tie game. There's no need to press. There's no need to force it. You've got the 2nd leading rusher in the league and Anthony Allen in the backfield. You've got your whole O-line together. Play to your strengths. Don't rely on the 41-year-old quarterback who was sitting at home a month and a half ago.
So they do hand it off to Miller in the backfield. Alonzo Lawrence met him a couple of yards in that backfield, a tackle for a loss of 3. As the Riders try to gain some momentum here offensively and some rhythm.
Right, and here you see they go to that double tight, try and spread out the defense, give them more gaps to defend in order to try and get that run game going. But the force from the outside, backside from Alonzo Lawrence makes a play. Now you look for an opportunity to run counters, possibly to Tressler, possibly with your quarterback, Kerry Joseph, on the bootleg. Attack the backside so they can't crash like that.
Joseph now, a lot of steamboats here. Time, throws. Low toss, look like it's picked. Koshi Mwamba has the football. Now, they didn't hit the ground before it got to the Saskatchewan receiver who looked like he knocked it up. Let's take a look at this play, if it indeed is a pick.
This is going to be our best angle. Watch for Rob Bagg to show up across the middle of the field, right side of your screen.
Field is the ball was intercepted. The defender had his hand under the football. Interception is the ruling on the field. Play will be reviewed.
So the call is interception. They're going to review it. Boy, I don't know. I don't know if it hit the turf.
It looked, as he suggested, like Bagg might have gotten his hand under there and popped it up. But again, for the officials, and I give the officials credit, you know, I look from that angle and wonder how it didn't hit the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So again, the call is that it is an interception, so they have to have video evidence to refute it.
Well, and the call of interception also forces the review, which makes it, quite frankly, the safe call from an officiating point of view. Let's see if there's a discernible bounce of the ball hitting the turf.
It's almost, if it is a bounce, it's right where he corrals it with his arm underneath.
Yeah,
not from that angle.
Rob Bagg is trying to scoop it.
What you mean? You always get the easy one.
And it's at CFL command right now. They're looking at the replays, a variety of angles to determine if it is a turnover. If it is, that's 3 straight passes that Kerry Joseph has thrown that have been picked off.
There's not enough evidence to change the ruling in the field. Ruling in the field was interception, first down Edmonton.
3 straight Kerry Joseph passes picked off by the Edmonton Eskimos. Koshi Mwamba, the later.
You see the most telling statistic in all of football, the turnover battle. Saskatchewan wins it, 9-1. Edmonton wins that battle, 7-1, and Edmonton is leading it in a big, big way right now after Kerry Joseph has had 3 consecutive passes picked off.
Turn and a handoff to John White. Ricky Foley bashes him into the turf. No gain.
First signs of real animosity between these two teams within this ball game, is some words exchanged there between John White and Ricky Foley. Verbal battle that continues on. I think Ricky Foley's just trying to get a little bit of emotion out of his team and get him back into this ball game.
Second and 10. Nichols goes the other way. Caught by Nate Kuhorn. Ricky Foley again tells him to get to the sideline after a 1-yard gain. So once again, a victory of sorts for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, particularly with a defense that, like the Edmonton Eskimos, has been able to lead their team this season.
To think at this point, losing the turnover battle 3-0 early in the second quarter, to be in a situation where it will not have cost them too dearly.
Can't keep flirting with that, though. Gonna have to start protecting the football. Weston Dressler, 32-yard kick. Likely to see more of that guy, number 7. Become a folk hero in Saskatchewan. Champion, a guy with huge heart, the smallest guys on the field. Need to get him going too. To be a start for Kerry Joseph, the hat pick, 3 in a row.
Yeah, definitely on the first 2. You'd argue that Kerry Joseph was guilty of trying to force the football. The third one, a tough break, a bounce off the hand of a sliding Rob Bagg.
Speaking of Rob Bagg, hauls that in. Finally a completion to the right colored uniform for Kerry Joseph, a 6-yard pickup.
You look for the brighter side in Rider Nation. Kerry Joseph has now thrown 5 passes in this football game. Every one of them has been caught, but only 2 by his own team. Here chipping away at about a 6-yard gain as they try to make their way from deep in their own territory and generate a little bit of momentum here.
Yeah, dangerous receivers though as they set it back up. Chris Getzlaff, Weston Dressler, 2nd and 4. Here's the rush. Joseph. Down he goes. collapsed, and Joseph had nowhere to go.
And just swarmed by that Eskimo defensive line. It hasn't been far behind the Roughriders in terms of pressuring quarterbacks. You see the quick get-off from Odell Willis at the bottom of the screen. And I believe it's Gregory Alexandra who eventually gets a piece of Joseph. Linebackers McCoyle, Lawrence on in support.
Third 2 and out for that Rough Rider offense. This one's going out of bounds. Terrible kick from Josh Bartel. The ball cannot fly out of bounds between the 20s. Has to land on the turf. 25-yard kick. And
illegal punt out of bounds. Saskatchewan number 17. A 10-yard penalty will be enforced from where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
And even more yardage. That will help the Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, Bartel unable to kick his team out of trouble for the bad kick and a costly penalty here. As the Eskimos starting this drive at the 31-yard line. Keep an eye to see if Matt Nichols, who's relied largely on the run game, especially on first down thus far, see if he looks in the direction of Darius Bowman.
Forward pitch this time. And around for John White. Almost 8 yards on that gain.
Well, we talked to Mike Riley yesterday, the injured Eskimo quarterback, about this run game. Here you're going to see a Darius Bowman motion one way, John White coming back the other way to take that toss. But Mike Riley described this particular offense under Steve McAdoo, the offensive coordinator, as the most diverse rushing attack he's ever been involved with. They can attack in so many different ways with so many different players.
Well, after that shove up pass back to White, crashes over the 20-yard line. They're in the red zone now. Another first down, Eskimos.
We've seen John White taking the shovel pass on the last play. Here from his traditional spot in the backfield. Back with good vision, a guy who can cut on a dime.
So inside the 20-yard line, the red zone for the Eskimos. Here comes the blitz. There goes the ball. Kendall Lawrence dives forward. The Rough Riders last in the CFL in defense within the red zone. They've given up more touchdowns than any other team.
Trying to bring the pressure to force that quick pass, not get a chance for anything deeper to develop. End zone shots to the likes of Darius Bowman and Fred Stamps in that situation. Kendall Lawrence has proven to be a very good outlet for his quarterbacks against the Riders.
Sends out 5 receivers. Nichols trying to step up now. Will he go? No, he throws. End zone. Was looking for Paris Jackson. Recently acquired late in the season. Released with the Ottawa Redblacks, the former BC Lion.
On Paris Jackson, he's proven to be an important pickup for this team, particularly with the injury to Simeon Rotier, and it becomes a ratio issue for this team. It's the presence of Paris Jackson becomes the third Canadian receiver in the lineup that allows them to play the 3 internationals, the 3 Americans on the offensive line, replacing Rotier with Thaddeus Coleman.
Hugh O'Neill, who missed his previous attempt from 42, from 21, has 3 field goals so far in this game. The lead is now 10-0. Rough Riders will start getting number 26 in gear, Anthony Allen, CFL second leading rusher. Right now, the Eskimos pitching a shutout. Georgia Tech, Anthony Allen, great pickup for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this season.
Yeah, had an immediate impact for the Roughriders, but then found himself in and out of the lineup a little bit. But nonetheless, Allen finished as the second leading rusher in the Canadian Football League this season, 930 yards for him. Look to see if he becomes a bigger part of this offensive game plan.
Riders make the Eskimos kick off after the successful field goal. Anthony Allen also was a draft pick with the Baltimore Ravens, played in the National Football League with the Ravens and also with the Buffalo Bills.
But Anthony Allen, you see the numbers at the bottom, 27 touches, 179 yards in 2 games during the regular season against the Edmonton Eskimos. Far off that pace in the early going here this afternoon, though. Allen just 13 yards so far in this ballgame. Who comes into this game considered one of the keys to success for the Riders.
Riders just have not been able to put their weapons on display yet. And mostly because of this suffocating Edmonton defense. You look at the turnaround this year for the Eskimos, 8 more wins. They were 4-14 last year. And the biggest reason is because of Chris Jones coming over. And, of course, the mentality of Chris Jones is stop the football first.
Yeah, they've been very good defensively. And, I mean, Chris Jones is a guy who preaches accountability, preaches aggressiveness, preaches competitiveness. I mean, he absolutely oozes all of those qualities. And it's reflected in the way his team plays, particularly defensively.
Joseph slings it for Dressler. Too far, overshot him into double coverage. Henry Joseph just trying to get his cleats under him right now after a horrendous start. Once again, the Riders will have to bring out their kick team. They trail 10-0 in this West Division semifinal. 4th, 2 and out.
Just desperately looking to try and get something going. And that Eskimo defense has done such a good job against the run on first down. It's putting a lot of pressure on Kerry Joseph.
Kendall Lawrence breaks through. Look out! Here he comes! There he goes! Touchdown! What a burst! What a run by Kendall Lawrence!
Kendall Lawrence, who torched the Saskatchewan Roughriders with a 96-yard kickoff return touchdown during the regular season, gets his first punt return touchdown of the year right here. 88 yards. There's the key block by Nate Coulthorn, got Diamond Ferry. Ferry was looking for a call on a cliff. Coulthorn just bumped him. May have gotten away with one. Lawrence turns it up and takes it to the house.
Officially an 84-yard return. Look at the daylight and then an absolute burst. Nobody was catching him.
We refer to him as the X Factor coming into this game.
You, bro. R.I.P. Eskimo today, baby.
Kendall Lawrence, a guy who had over 400 yards each, rushing, receiving, on kickoff returns and punt returns.
Shout out to the fans. Everybody, I miss y'all. I love y'all. Eskimo football. We here today. I heard you, Willie.
That's all I got.
84 yards. Native of Rockwell, Texas.
That's my dog.
And another one of those players that Ed Hervey, the general manager of this team, has been able to go out and get and has absolutely transformed this team. We talked about the defense. That's obvious. But adding a Kendall Lawrence to the special teams has made a major impact.
Well, he's contributed in so many different ways, able to fill in the backfield for John White, able to line up in the slot where he's an ideal fit in this offense. And what he's done on teams, as you mentioned, has been huge.
There's former Eskimo Jerome Messum on the return that time. Well, Kendall Lawrence has been there, done that, and run that.
Yeah, the special teams player of the month for October, Kendall Lawrence.
This is what we do.
96-yard kickoff return against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Fast forward, they knew what they were dealing with at number 32. but he hurt him again. Officially 84 yards for the punt return touchdown for Kendall Lawrence.
He's ready for part 2 there. Well, the Roughriders now have a bigger hill to climb here. It's not getting easier. That makes it 17-0. Gain of 2 here on this play. And it's almost like a shell-shocked Rough Rider team here early on.
It certainly is. And Edmonton, a team that you know is going to be, as we said, competitive under Chris Jones, and they're going to get increasingly aggressive in terms of their defensive calls as this game goes on. Like a shark, they sense that blood in the water.
Little spin move by Odell Willis. You saw Joseph stepping up. Penalty flag on the play. Weston Dressler has the biggest play for the Rough Riders, but this is likely coming back. That time afforded because of a hold.
10-yard penalty, still second down.
Odell Willis was trying to spin through the blocking there, and they got a hold of him.
First thing you want to see is how fast Odell Willis gets off the football here. Watch how far in front of everyone else he is on this ball snap. Then that great spin move to the inside that forces Ben Heenan to grab him to protect his quarterback.
Western Division All-Star, perennial All-Star Odell Willis, who quite humbly calls himself the best rush end in football. Penalty flags. So that play was just getting off. Once again, it's going to go against Saskatchewan, it looks like.
Edmonton defense led by Willis calling for even more crowd noise here, trying to make life difficult for the Riders.
What would you do right now if you're Corey Chamberlain in this offense to try to fend off this buzzsaw?
Well, the big thing is not to go into panic.
Offside. Edmonton number 41. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So it is against the Eskimos, so something positive here for the Riders.
But as much as it's a 17-point deficit right now, you still don't want to abandon the run game in this ball game because it takes out such a chunk of your playbook. And if you get into all-pass situations, then the advantage goes to the Eskimo defense. Goes to any defense when you get in that mode.
Movement on the Rider line, it looked like. Penalty flag flew. This crowd is not making it easy for the Rough Riders either.
Illegal procedure. Saskatchewan number 58, 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
That goes against the left tackle, Xavier Fulton. But mixing up snap counts is part of what the Riders have to do to deal particularly with Willis, but with that defensive line as a whole. But you see Odell Willis, if he's in a rhythm, the timing of his get-off from the line, he can be a nightmare.
Joseph over the middle. It's picked off. Once again, the Eskimos all over the Saskatchewan Roughriders as Ryan Hines has the latest pick. That's 4 in one half of football.
Ryan Hines. Toronto secondary, former New Hampshire Wildcat. He's a free safety, playing deep, but he sees that route coming to the post and he just jumps it. He's coming downhill all the way and beats the receiver to the spot. Joseph has time to set up and throw. He sees Dressler make that break to the middle.
Nightmare right now for the Roughriders. Nichols, end zone, and it's picked back. Weldon Brown on the corner. Snuffs it out. So finally something good happens to the Roughriders after another disastrous interception.
Matt Nichols is guilty of getting predetermined here. Darius Bowman is just going to take that outside release going down the field. Weldon Brown has moved out from linebacker to play that corner. He finds himself matched up on Bowman. And Brown just has perfect position on the play.
Right in his mitts.
And a big play for the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense.
Come on, my wife. We want to come back and get this thing. You heard me? You heard me?
Clock ticking down. Close to the 3-minute warning. Confusion again for the Roughriders in that backfield. Dexter McCoyle right in the middle of the scrum.
Hello, Dexter McCoyle.
Riders are lucky that Dexter McCoyle didn't just take the pitch himself. Cross motion between the receivers. Corey Williams and Weston Dressler in motion. McCoyle coming from depth here. You see Williams cross first, Dressler's coming the other way. But the motion of Williams leads McCoyle, the West Division Rookie of the Year, right to the football.
Another loss, 2nd and 12. Blitz again, sack again. And the Eskimos on a roll. Eddie Steele, the former Manitoba Bison, former Hamilton Tiger Cat. There's a penalty flag on the far side, however.
Look, the Eskimos were offside. It's just a matter of if they were drawn or not. But it appeared McCoyle was definitely offside on the defensive right side.
Offside. Edmonton number 45. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
3-minute warning on the field. Yeah, the Eskimos are rolling right now, up 17-zip. Late first half. Thank you so much, man. We'll see you at halftime. Riders trying to get some points on the board here. You said it. Eskimo defensive domination, but they haven't capitalized on turnovers. Only 4 points on turnovers. Joseph, complete pass. First of the game to Chris Getzlaff. They should give him progress, which should be near the 35-yard line. It looks like they will. A good spot. It'll be a first down for the Roughriders, who before that play had only 20 yards of total offense.
Yeah, desperate to get something going here. Getzlaff's a good place to start getting one of their top receivers involved and move those sticks. First downs have been tough to come by for these Roughriders. Joseph struggling, Eskimo defense on a roll.
Joseph settles in, back-to-back, Weston Dressler. This is more of what we have come to expect from the Rider offense and more of what we saw a few years ago from Kerry Joseph when he was winning a Grey Cup for Saskatchewan, albeit 7 years ago.
Well, and then Kerry Joseph on this possession is demonstrating why the Saskatchewan Roughriders went out. You see his offensive coordinator, George Cortez, why they went out and brought in Kerry Joseph, the veteran, guy who's going to settle things down and, quite frankly, not panic after 4 first-half interceptions. He's still able to function with some confidence here.
That one through the hands of Brett Swain. Joseph broke into the Canadian Football League after being a free safety, of all things, in the National Football League with the Seattle Seahawks. He was playing flag football at the time, went to the Ottawa Renegades, eventually to Saskatchewan, where he became the MOP Grey Cup champion, then to Toronto. Ended up in Edmonton last couple of seasons.
I think clearly the best years of his career spent as a Saskatchewan Roughrider, and the opportunity to come back and play for this team, a big part of the reason why he even considered coming back this season.
There is a challenge flag on the far side of the field.
Saskatchewan is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. They believe a defensive pass interference occurred on the play. The play will be reviewed.
For those of you watching on ESPN2 in the United States for the first time this year, defensive pass interference can be reviewed in the Canadian Football League via video. And they will take it to CFL command, look at this, and if it was pass interference, could change this play.
We'll take a look and see if the defender is in early on the play. There you see the matchup as Swain breaks out. Looked like there may have been a little clutch on the break. Take a closer look here on the timing of the contact from Lawrence.
Hard to tell there. Didn't look like anything egregious by the Edmonton defender.
And I would say that if there's a call here, it's going to be not so much at the time when the ball arrives, but more at the time of the break. Illegal contact on the receiver. If you watch for a grab right here, that right hand affects Swain a little bit as he tries to make that break out to get to the football. In a review, remember that other fouls, infractions can be detected and called.
And I think you're right. If this will be overturned, this call of an incomplete pass, it would have to be on the cut. Because right there, it doesn't look like interference.
Yeah, no, there Lawrence is arriving with the football.
We have the verdict from Andre Proulx and command.
Upon review, there's not enough evidence to change the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. It is an incomplete pass, second down.
So nothing going right, even the challenges for Corey Chamberlain.
And a reasonable gamble for Corey Chamberlain to take as he recognizes time ticking down in this first half. He would love to get some points on the board. He's trying to stay out of this 2nd and 10. Try and keep a little bit of momentum after back-to-back first down completions.
Needs this one to try to keep the drive alive. And a one-hopper for Dressler. Both Foster was there. So it doesn't look like the Roughriders, unless they can get the ball back, will break this shutout before halftime. We're going to have to boot it back to the Eskimos, and look who's heading back to that 20-yard line.
Kendall Lawrence, who's already made his mark on this ball game, waiting to field the punt from another former Hamilton Tiger Cat, Josh Bartel.
And over ender. Not this time. 49-yard kick. It's a Darius Bowman all-star season with some others. Deron Carter, what a game he had earlier today. Clarence Denmark also 1,000 yards, but no one was better than a Darius Bowman, almost 1,500 yards receiving.
Yeah, well, there you saw the only 3 guys in the league to break 1,000 this year, and a Darius Bowman, the runaway leader in that department, got off to a great start this season. Eskimos nominee as most outstanding player this year, and deservedly so. Clear year for him.
The deepest that the Eskimos have started this entire game. Back near their 15. Swallowed up at the line of scrimmage is John White.
And one of the few times they've been able to contain John White in the early going here.
Another stop here, and the Roughriders could get good field position, possibly with the ball back before halftime. Maybe it's up to the Roughrider defense to provide a spark as well. Team that has induced a number of turnovers this season. That one is also low, so another 2 and gone. Nate Kuhorn. Minute 11 to go before halftime. From this area, Saskatchewan could get the ball on Edmonton's side of the field. Weston Dressler's at the midfield stripe.
Well, like Kendall Lawrence, Weston Dressler had a couple of return touchdowns during the regular season. Now would be a pretty good time from a Rider point of view for him to get number 3.
Hugh O'Neill. Booming kick. Big one. Dressler now. Dion Lacey bringing him out at the 55-yard line. The Wets punch their ticket to the Eastern Final. They'll take on Hamilton next week. 50-17 over the BC Lions. 17-0 Eskimos lead. A minute before halftime. Play action again. Joseph in trouble again. Now backs up and escapes. Better throw it away. He does. He's pummeled again.
Gary Joseph looking at the sidelines for Western Bradford.
Injured Eskimo on the field as well.
The play action here really didn't slow down the Eskimo rush. Pat Watkins, the corner, was coming on a blitz. He just overran Kerry Joseph on the play. Here's Watkins. Very brief hesitation, and then he's coming for Kerry Joseph. He misses the tackle, and you'll see he takes a little bit of a shot here.
Great. He's the injured Eskimo. I don't know if they got hurt as he tumbled to the field or not. Watkins, a West Division All-Star, former Grey Cup champion in Toronto back in 2012. Simply one of the best corners in the game.
Yeah, a guy playing on that boundary side. You got the one-on-one matchup. He just went down awkwardly here. Tough to say if it was that
maybe
reach for that right hip as he just twisted. Twisted up a little bit as he fell. Almost like he may have jammed that right leg a bit.
Three ticks before the half. Watkins looks like he's okay. Question is, can Saskatchewan put some points on the board here? They've been manhandled in so many ways here in this first half, yet 17 is not insurmountable by any stretch. Pursued again on Joseph. He's got a man open. Wide open is Corey Williams. It's a touchdown on a prayer.
Now here's the key. That Pat Watkins spot. Dexter McCoyle shifted out from the weak side linebacker position with the injury to Watkins. He replaces him at the corner. McCoyle starts off. He's with Williams in coverage, but when the scramble starts, he lets his receiver go. There you see he's with him, but he lets the receiver go eyes upfield. And Williams gets in behind him for the biggest Rough Rider play of the ball game.
Huge play. How about Kerry Joseph? His escapability. And the veteran experience, the moxie to know that Corey Williams is down there, spot him, hit him with the deep shot, and the Rough Riders are on the board here.
And a huge touchdown for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We just talked about how they wanted to score before the break. Again, Odell Willis off the ball quickly. Forces Joseph to step up. Kerry Joseph hangs in there and takes a shot from Odell to make that touchdown pass to the former BC Lion, Corey Williams.
A 54-yard bomb from Kerry Joseph to Corey Williams. And Dexter McCoyle was the guy they victimized after Pat Watkins went out with the injury. Before that play, the Saskatchewan Roughriders had run out 44 yards the entire first half. They had more on that than that one play.
Rather sudden turn here. Always big to score right before the break.
Partner, you've been down this road before. This is playoff football. Anything can happen. Francisco, Kendall Lawrence changed the game early with that return, but suddenly different complexion once again. The lead just 10.
We see Chris Jones trying to fire up his football team. For the Edmonton Eskimos, right about now, only getting 4 points off those 4 turnovers.
Huge.
Looming very, very large as the Riders creep a little closer.
You like to see Hugh O'Neill out on the field. And a fumbled football! A fumbled football. The Eskimos are saying they were down. It looked like John White was down, but officials ruled a
Rolling on the
turnover.
field as the ball carrier's knee was down with contact.
So they're saying he was down and it looked like he was down.
Yeah, it's clearly the right call.
I was going to say, though, they like to see Hugh O'Neill on the field, but to kick converts, not all those field goals in the first half.
Definitely a missed opportunity. So rarely at this level of football are you going to get that many chances. 4 interceptions by the Edmonton Eskimos in the first half of this ball game. Only 4 points to show for it.
Second down and 4. Time for Edmonton to also add some points here before the half. They put it in the air. A little swing pass to Darius Bowman as the first down wisely steps out of bounds. Only took up 9 seconds, so they can still get it into Hugh O'Neill's range here. A couple more shots.
Again, able to run that play action, get the receivers open by virtue of the success that they've had running the football, not just in this ball game, but through the season against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Nichols now swings it out for Lawrence. Again, sliding. Probably could have taken a couple more yards and gone out of bounds, but 19 on the clock.
Yeah, got to be aware of the situation, and if you're not going to be able to get it upfield, get to that sideline. Preserve what little time you have left. Clock showing 19 seconds right now.
So whistled in. Clock is ticking. We have time for this to get it in field goal range, really, and then the kick. That's it. Keep it on the ground. Headbutting up the middle goes John White. Second and 8.
Time runs out.
But the clock had expired. The first half is over. Defense, defense, defense for Edmonton and Kendall Lawrence. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders bounce back with a bomb in the late going. A ball game suddenly in the Western semifinal. CFL Western semifinal heading into the second half. Edmonton leading 17-7. What kind of adjustments will be made in the second half? Here's Sarah Orlesky with Saskatchewan head coach Corey Chamberlain.
Corey, what did that touchdown late in that first half do for this group? Not just in terms of getting on the scoreboard, but mentally for this team.
Well, you know, it lit that fire. You know, we survived the storm that they came out with earlier, and it gave us something that we can hopefully build off of in the second half.
What can this offense do? It obviously struggled a lot in that first half.
Well, you know, Chris Jones brought a lot of zero pressure, stopped the run, did some things like that, you know, got us off kilt there. But, you know, I look forward for us in the second half to get the ball moving.
Thank you, Corey.
All right, thank you.
And as they try to deal with that pressure from Chris Jones' defense, we talked a lot, as did the fellas on the panel, about getting that run game going. Now, Edmonton's defended that well in the first half, and a big part of why Saskatchewan hasn't been running the football. But there are other things you can do. You add your screen draw package a little bit more to try and deal with that pressure. Move the pocket around a little bit and so on. Force the pass rushers to move sideways rather than just allowing them to tee off and get upfield. And something simple we talked about, even just changing the cadence. So Odell Willis, who's usually the first guy in the backfield, can't time up that get-off.
Think about it, and if it wasn't for Kendall Lawrence in that return, this is only a 3-point ball game, and as dominant as the Eskimos have been defensively, Kerry Joseph has thrown for more yardage than Matt Nichols.
Yeah, you look at the first half numbers, and Matt Nichols has only thrown the ball for 41 yards so far in this ball game. And yeah, they've had some success running the ball on the ground and so on. But I mean, you get into a situation if Saskatchewan is able to start shutting down that run and force Matt Nichols to beat them. He hasn't yet shown he can do that.
Let's see how it plays out here in the second half. First pass slant to Darius Bowman. Bowman has a first down. That's his third catch of the game, a 16-yard pickup.
Matt Nichols probably says challenge accepted. Quick hitter here to Bowman. Just gets a quick inside release. Big body, get the ball out quick.
Matt Nichols, former Eastern Washington star, pulls it back, play action. Again looking for Bowman. That's a great matchup we're watching. We'll see how this plays out, but think about one of the big plays for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in that first half. That interception by Weldon Brown in the end zone.
Yeah, no question. At a time when what Edmonton was doing was looking to take advantage of that sudden momentum on the turnover and going for this quick strike to the end zone. Weldon Brown, the former Eskimo, step for step with Darius Bowman to snuff out that momentum.
6 receivers set this time. Nichols decides to scamper. Looks to throw, is in trouble, and does throw it away at the very last minute. Otherwise, he would have been walloped.
We've seen a couple of times now in this ball game where Matt Nichols has scrambled, has broken contain, and it's the situation where you kind of think this is where you see the difference between Matt Nichols and Mike Riley, because right here, Mike Riley's turning the corner and trying to get it upfield. Matt Nichols is still trying to look to make that throw. And who knows, that may be what Riley's discussing with him over there a little bit. But I thought the same thing when there was an opportunity down near the Saskatchewan end zone where Matt Nichols could have run.
Weston wrestler trying to burst it outside, still on his feet. Looked like he was going to be stopped for no return. Picked up a few yards here. 10-point ball game. Matt Nichols in trouble, just heaves it away. CFL playoffs continue on TSN. Was sitting in his recliner probably thinking about what he was going to do with the rest of his life.
Yeah, well, now he finds himself in the biggest game of the year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You see his career playoff numbers coming into this ball game. The career record of 3-2, 7 touchdown passes. Prior to today, only 3 interceptions thrown. He's exceeded that number in the first half, but looks to get things turned around here. Finished the first half with a bang, a touchdown pass to Corey Williams.
Joseph fumbled the football, and looks like he got it back. Again, heavy pressure on Kerry Joseph. Now, Alonzo Lawrence has the football, but the initial signal looked like it was Saskatchewan football.
Again, though, watch how fast Odell Willis gets off the line, and they're going double tight here. There's 7 men on the line of scrimmage in protection. Again, it looks like Anthony Allen is the guy who's got to be inside of the receiver. Chris Getzlaff in this protection. He doesn't get anybody. Leaving Willis free to force a fumble, something that he did 5 times during the regular season.
Second down, 17. Wings it out. Nice move by Getzlaff. Chris Getzlaff up near the midfield stripe. And one of the biggest plays again for the Saskatchewan Roughriders on a hookup this time from number 5 to 89.
And a big play on 2nd and long to make this happen. Getzlaff, the inside receiver on the play, working against the man coverage of Aaron Grimes. Grimes overruns that break to the out. Getzlaff turns it back in for a big gain.
See the traction on the field as well, how it affected that play. Right now the Riders getting some offensive traction. Now they go off the pike. Anthony Allen for half the first down yardage. So suddenly, Saskatchewan team picking up some steam.
Unfortunate to dodge that bullet on the fumble after the bust in protection to start the drive. A big 2nd down throw there from Joseph to Getzlaff. Allows him to stay alive. Let's see if we get a little bit more of Anthony Allen.
Riders were second last in the CFL on 2nd down conversions during the regular season. And they fail on this 2nd down conversion. A big play to Getzlaff at least got them better field position to boot the ball away.
An opportunity to tip the field here in terms of that field position battle if they can get a good punt from Josh Bartel. Managed to contain Kendall Lawrence, who's already brought one back here today. Think about how much the Eskimos dealt with a short field in the first half of this ball game as the result of turnovers.
39-yard boot. Nowhere to go this time. Kendall Lawrence. Edmonton leads 17-7. Odell Willis. Always dominant. Tackling machine.
We in the playoffs. The last playoff action for both starting quarterbacks in this ballgame, Kerry Joseph and Matt Nichols, came in the same game. The East semifinal back in 2012, Kerry Joseph was the starting quarterback for the Edmonton Eskimos. He struggled in that ball game, eventually being pulled at halftime. The young Matt Nichols came in and replaced him. Nichols ended up suffering a serious injury, the dislocated ankle, and had to come out of the ball game. So a day that didn't end happily for either one of these two quarterbacks, but both seeing their first playoff action since, now on opposite sides of the battle.
3-yard pickup for Darius Bowman on this play. So interesting irony or coincidence. These two are back at it against each other this time. And of course, this guy has had to come back from some severe injuries, facing the heat again on the roll. He throws and going high and unable to come down. First-round draft pick Devin Bailey. So again, a quick 2-0 for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, the deep punt works out for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Nichols high with that throw on the run, just beyond Devin Bailey. Again, I'd still love to see Matt Nichols, and not necessarily in that second and longer situation. But I'd like to see Matt Nichols. He's had opportunities to break contain, and I think if he's willing to run, there are going to be chances for him to move the sticks doing so.
Stephen Miller is back, along with Weston Dressler. 2 returners this time for the Riders, who should get good position again here. Like a no yards call, it'll be a 5-yard penalty because it bounced. So the Riders, that all works out. Think about how big that pass was to Getzlaff to get them out of trouble. And after the change of possession, Kerry Joseph chats with George Cortez. And a good chance here for the Roughriders to inch a little closer.
It certainly is, that exchange of field position.
No yards. Edmonton number 53. 5-yard penalty. First down, Saskatchewan.
You talked, Dwayne, about the last time that Nichols and Joseph played in a playoff game. The last time these two teams met in the playoffs, which is almost hard to believe, was 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely remarkable. So they've had some epics looking back at the history over the last 25 years. Some pretty significant playoff games between these two teams.
Joseph now behind cover. Down he goes. Gregory Alexandra topples Kerry Joseph.
Alexandra, the former Montreal Canadiens. Guy who's proud to see his alma mater, by the way, heading to the national semifinals after an overtime victory over Laval yesterday. He's in at that defensive tackle spot. He's been part of the rotation this season with Eddie Steele, Armando Sewell. Beats Brendan Labatt to the inside to pick up the sack.
Second and a lot of real estate. 19. Joseph steps up now and fires, and it's picked by Dexter McCoyle. Continues his outstanding season. Kerry Joseph has now tied a dubious playoff record with 5 interceptions.
Dexter McCoyle tied for the league lead with 6 during the regular season, just picked up the Eskimos' 5th of the game, but that's not the big story right now. The big story is at quarterback, where Mike Riley has just replaced Matt Nichols.
Unbelievable. Nichols was on the field looking at his wristband. Riley came into the ballgame, and here he is. We did not think we'd see Mike Riley. Now John White on a power pitch sweep. Big first down. Riley, you and I watched him earlier today. He could barely move up there, was throwing the football. Again, word is that he could have a broken foot, playing injured.
And I mean, you can detect a little bit of a limp there, and quite frankly, it looked more pronounced than that during the warm-up. So it'll be interesting to see the extent of the playbook with which Mike Riley is working here.
17-yard gain for John White. See what kind of mobility Mike Riley has in the pocket. Riders loaded up here, and they hand it off again to White. This is why Mike Riley is playing in relief of Matt Nichols today.
Yeah, fourth quarter with a big lead against the BC Lions. Mike Riley on a scramble. Goes down awkwardly, came up limping after that play. You know, many questions about whether or not he should have been in the game. And I'll go on the record. I'm not as bothered as most people are by the fact that he was still in the ball game. See a little extra padding on that right foot.
2nd and 9. Riders look like they moved. Were they drawn? Riley throws it anyways. So here we have Mike Riley in the game. Tino Sinceri apparently was warming up as well. Kerry Joseph has thrown 5 interceptions. That ties a CFL playoff record. That's not the kind of record you want to have, mind you. A list of some players, including Ron Lancaster, who did that twice, by the way.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's a remarkable series of events at quarterback. Leading up to this game, now during the game as well.
Mike Riley, the West Division All-Star, voted in at his position. So injured his hand this season. Now throws it to White, bobbles and drops it. The whistle blows. Now you can hear some of the fans here. The Saskatchewan Roughrider fans travel well and travel a lot. Those were cheers from the Rider fans who felt that perhaps White had possession.
Yeah, but he was bobbling this one the whole way. Never secured the
Rolling
football.
on the field is an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down.
So after a rather stunning turn of events when we did not think we were going to see Mike Riley. He comes out, drives the ball into field goal territory for Hugh O'Neill. Looking to extend the lead to 13. This from just inside the 40-yard line. Nichols in the game to hold. O'Neill, this one is wide right. Dressler looking to take a knee, likely, and he will. Seeking an opening, he gives up the single point. That's 2 misses for O'Neill. The Saskatchewan Roughriders are hanging around in a game that the Edmonton Eskimos could have put in the bag a long time ago. And guess who's in the huddle now for the Riders?
Tino Sinceri. So he's getting some last-minute instructions here from offensive coordinator George Cortez. Before he gets his first action of the day, there are his numbers on the season. 6 touchdown passes versus 3 interceptions. Obviously had his ups and downs. Filling in for Darian Durant.
Former star. University of Pittsburgh. Brother plays in the National Football League. Dad is a coach. They load up the house. Here come the Eskimos. Sinceri throws and trying to find Chris Getzlaff, who had a step, it looked like, but the ball was overthrown.
Yeah, he did. Getzlaff in behind coverage there. Marcel Young ended up as the closest defender on the play. But Getzlaff had a little bit of separation here as he takes the middle with the safety. Not involved. Got a good release there, as you saw on Young, to get over top.
Kerry Joseph. 5 picks. Looks like he is done. Comes the rush again, and Sinceri runs now, and Tino Sinceri head first. Down by contact. 12-yard gain for Tino Sinceri on a enormous play here to keep the drive alive.
This is a great decision by Tino Sinceri. Under pressure, but things open up on that right side. And he sees it. He recognizes he's got an opportunity to get to the marker.
How about the job the O-line did there to afford him that time to get out of the pocket? First and 10 from the Saskatchewan 47. Sinceri goes deep again, looking for Williams, and he's got it! Oh, he had it! Corey Williams, who has Saskatchewan's long touchdown, came late in the first half. For a moment, looked like he made an outstanding catch.
Yeah, I love the way that Corey Williams played this football. As you'll see, he used his body to kind of shield the defender from the ball, and then at the last second, he stays inside, and then at the last second, pushes away just a little bit, very subtly, to get to that ball, but unable to squeeze it. But put in a good spot by Sinceri, who just drops it in there. But unable to survive that contact with the ground was Corey Williams.
Decibels rise up. Temperature plummets. Game tightens up. Sinceri. Williams makes the catch in traffic. Almost triple team coverage. A good spot for the Roughriders. Up near the Edmonton 50-yard line. A 12-yard gain. Sinceri fires a laser.
And Tino Sinceri sparking a little bit of life into this Saskatchewan Roughrider offense. There's that quick hitter, as you said, throwing it on the rope.
Sinceri again, lobs it out for Rob Bagg. And the whistle blew, and Rob Bagg was down. Rob Bagg became the Riders' leading receiver this season, a West Division All-Star. Chris Getzlaff was injured. Weston Dressler only played half the season, so they didn't get the productivity they normally get from those guys, and Bagg saw a lot of football.
Yeah, he did. Rob Bagg ending up just a couple yards from his career high.
Receiver, Edmonton number 23. That penalty's declined. First down.
By the way, Tino Sinceri, he's not new to coming into the game here. He's had some reps this year when Darian Durant went out, and those reps look like they're paying off.
Oh, they certainly do. Sinceri demonstrating a lot of poise coming in this situation.
First and 10 from the Edmonton 40. Riders have some life here. Sinceri, pocket closes and twisted down. J.C. Sherritt. Kind of become one of the forgotten men, it seems, in that Edmonton defense, who a guy a few years ago was the most outstanding defensive player in the Canadian Football League.
Well, and it's frankly a good thing, and that's taking absolutely nothing away from J.C. Sherritt. But it means that there's a little bit more help around him on that defense and a lot of other people making plays.
Sherritt, of course, owned the Canadian Football League tackle record the year he won Outstanding Defensive Player. That was obliterated this year by Solomon Elimimian. Now nominated for Most Outstanding and Most Outstanding Defensive Player. Sinceri, second down. The blocking has a convoy now, and Sinceri has a first down.
Sinceri forced the scramble. He calls from his own upper.
Boy, talk about making something out of absolutely nothing.
Well, this was a game where we expected and quite frankly hoped under the circumstances that you would see the quarterbacks in the game earlier getting involved. Stephen Miller with a nice block downfield on the scramble. But quarterbacks using their legs. You knew there was going to be pressure from both defensive lines in this ballgame. We talked about Matt Nichols. There were opportunities to run. Felt at times maybe Kerry Joseph could have put a little more pressure on the defense with his legs.
Eighth play of the drive. Slant pattern. Sinceri fires it into Weston Dressler. It's going to be second down again. Half the first down yardage, looks like 5. Tino Sinceri has lit a fire here, a spark for the Roughriders.
Well, he certainly has. Sinceri coming in a couple of runs. He's thrown a couple of bullets here. He's moving the sticks.
How about this in this drive? 28 pass yards for Sinceri, 27 rush yards. No flag at the goal line. Riders wanted a penalty. They're not getting it as Bagg was watched closely on the far sideline.
Yeah, Bagg's going to take the outside release here. And as there's the defender, the Foster's right with him. Sinceri's looking for a throw behind. But Bagg unable to work back to that football. Like he may have been hooked a little bit there by Foster as he tried to make that break.
Chris Milos had a subpar season, 9th in the CFL and field goal percentage, 71%. This from the 30-yard line, buries it. 8-point ball game. Getting closer here. Tino Sinceri has provided some life to the Saskatchewan Roughriders in this Western semifinal. Purolator Sack Attack brought to you by Purolator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check, and the two big check marks go to these two teams on the field at Commonwealth tonight.
Number 1 and 2 in the league. And we look at the individuals tied for second. Eric Norwood of Hamilton, Sean Lemon of Calgary, Odell Willis of the Edmonton Eskimos, all with 13. But topping the list, John Chick of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, career high, 15 sacks this season for the green and white.
15 sacks, was on a pace to break the all-time record. Has only had 1 sack in his last 6 games, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders are making this very uncomfortable for the Edmonton Eskimos in what looked like it could have been a rout early in this ball game. 5 interceptions. You should not be in a ball game.
Yeah, well, we've talked about it. The Edmonton Eskimos made this uncomfortable for themselves, not capitalizing on the first half opportunities.
Hence putting Mike Riley into this ball game to try to put some more points on the board. Riders continue to claw forward. 8-point deficit for Saskatchewan, the defending Grey Cup champions. Remember what happened last year to this team? They knew that they had the home field advantage in Regina, possibility of getting to the Grey Cup game, but they weren't favorites last year in the postseason.
Well, Corey Chamberlain talked to us yesterday about the fact that this has evolved a little bit into a lunch pail bunch. Bunch of guys who do their work and chip away.
Here comes the heat. Riley, down he goes. John Chick in on Mike Riley. There was a penalty flag that flew when the ball was snapped. 26 seconds remain, third quarter. Anybody's ball game here.
Offside. Edmonton number 19. That penalty's declined. Third down.
You know, the graphic we just showed, 2 of the sack leaders and the defense. No surprise that this game is turning out the way it is.
John Chick is getting heated up here. You saw him on the loop. He ended up with a pretty good bull rush on the guard. Matt O'Donnell to get the pressure there.
Once again, 2 returners back for the Roughriders as Hugh O'Neill steps onto the field again. Riders set up the return. Dressler has a block and another. Good field position again for the Riders. Well, available now, TSN Shop is the newest online destination for licensed CFL jerseys and ultimate man cave merchandise. Visit tsnshop.ca to start shopping today. Good day to be in the cave today, Lots of football, a great weekend. Continues next weekend, of course, the East and West final. Final play barring penalty. Third quarter. Terry wants to throw. He's got lots of time now. In pursuit. Down he goes. Alonzo Lawrence with the sack. Tough day in this cold weather to be a quarterback hitting that hard turf. Few sacks now. Probably more to come here.
Pursuit from the backside. Alonzo Lawrence brings him down.
18-10, Edmonton. We head to the fourth at Commonwealth. And the Western semifinal rolls on. The third quarter, look at Saskatchewan. Their passing yardage now. Key number, the 5 turnovers. Not so much the 5 turnovers, the fact that Edmonton could not capitalize on all those 5 interceptions thrown by Kerry Joseph. So here we are to the fourth. Kerry Joseph and Matt Nichols start. And now Tino Sinceri and Mike Riley are finishing.
Yeah, and it's coming down to Tino Sinceri, who's been pretty effective since coming into this ball game, both in terms of throwing and running the football for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 28 yards through the air. He's chipped in another 27 on the ground to move the sticks a couple of times. Now the question is, how effective will Mike Riley be with very limited mobility? We know that Riley's ability to scramble, his involvement in the ground game for the Eskimos has been a big part of his success this season. We don't know how much of that Mike Riley we're actually going to see today.
Sinceri has time. Wants to drop it off now. Stephen Miller has room over the midfield stripe. It's something we did not see from the Roughriders throughout that offensive drought in the first half was bubble screens or any kind of dump passes, and now Sinceri throws this one, picks up 15.
Yeah, having the outlet receivers available when the pressure is coming or nothing's opening up downfield, and there you see it with Stephen Miller. Guy who gives a different dimension in the backfield, smaller scat back type as opposed to the bagger in Anthony Allen. He gets him close to first down yardage. It's about 1.5 yards. On third down, they're going to go for it.
Well, Sinceri is going to go talk about it.
Timeout.
They take a timeout. 3rd and 1. There's lots of time left. Saskatchewan this season on third down conversions, 11 for 16. 5 misses.
And not a gimme here, and it's over 1 yard to go here for sure.
So probably huddling up and also looking at that game clock with 14.5 minutes to go. Will they stay on the field with their offense, or will they bring out Josh Bartel?
The offense is staying out.
They're going for it. Tino Sinceri comes off the bench.
They've generated momentum with Sinceri in the ballgame. They're trying to maintain that.
And he goes in shotgun in pistol formation. On third down, he's throwing. And it's incomplete for Getzlaff. Wow. 3rd and a long yard. They go to throw the football, and they can't come through, and they turn it over again to the Eskimos, who get good field position now.
And Anthony Allen hangs it late. What they're trying to do is keep that threat of a run fake in the backfield rather than having him set early to pass protect. They want to keep the run threat there and get the Eskimos to buy in, but the S didn't bite at all, and were there to defend the pass perfectly. Great friendship between these two head coaches, Chris Jones and Corey Chamberlain, goes back to the mid-90s at Tennessee Tech. But they are ridiculously competitive.
The good news for the Riders, there's still lots of time left, but that could be a very costly turnover in the grand scheme of things as John White barrels forward. Did you like that play call?
I wasn't sold on going for it in that situation, and I'm typically very much a guy who believes in playing to win, playing aggressively, gambling a little bit. But in that situation, I'd have actually punted for the field position because the Edmonton offense has been pretty stagnant, and I'd have tried to swing the field a little bit in terms of the exchange of punts.
Well, let's see how it plays out now. 2nd down and 6. Riley shotgun. Mike Riley coming off the bench as well. He'll keep it on the ground. They pound that ground again, so this will be 3rd down. So in the grand scheme of things, Edmonton is going to punt it back, but it is an exchange of field position of about 45 yards.
Yeah, and so now it means instead of maybe getting the ball back around midfield on that exchange for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, unless they get a big return from Weston Dressler here, are going to have to march a little bit.
Here's another big number for you. 6 turnovers by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, only 4 points scored by the Edmonton Eskimos. That is playing out large here as Dressler steps out of bounds. And a roughing call, unnecessary roughness.
This is a touchy call.
Yeah, it looked like
they tried to hold him up.
And again, with a slippery sideline here, Mike Miller is going to be penalized. And you can add 15 onto this.
Are you good, Dion?
This was more collision than hit. He's trying to hold him up.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Edmonton number 25. 15-yard penalty. First down, Saskatchewan.
So the Riders are going to get the benefit of that penalty. Let's see how it goes down the stretch. Big plays. Some big misses in this game as well. And all season, Dexter McCoyle in the middle of it. Let's go down to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Rod, it isn't often when you're interviewing Chris Jones that you get a genuine smile out of the man, but I certainly did when I asked him about Dexter McCoyle. Told me he's a tremendously hard worker and that he likes what he's been able to do, obviously, so far. He's a Rookie of the Year nominee. Not bad considering that this is his first year ever playing linebacker. He was always a safety, whether it be growing up or in college. But he said that, but one thing that Chris Jones said was that even in walkthrough, McCoyle hates to make a mistake.
Well, there he is, close to that play, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders move the sticks again. Weston Dressler in front of Dexter McCoyle, 15-yard gain.
A remarkable rookie season it's been for Dexter McCoyle, and he's been front and center yet again in this ball game. I know he's a guy who hates to make a mistake. There's one play that's going to stick in his mind from this ballgame.
Pistol formation, Sinceri. There's the rush again, and he's it deep, looking for Williams, and could not run underneath it on a moonshot from Tino Sinceri. Corey Williams had it in his grasp.
Yeah, a couple of times we've seen the long balls. Sinceri puts a lot of air underneath the football, trying to let the speedster Williams run underneath it.
Could have been caught.
Yeah, this one just trails a little bit to the outside. Williams has some trouble tracking it. He was in behind Pat Watkins.
Sinceri has shown some savvy here. Receivers in motion. Looks, wings it out again for Anthony Allen, and once again, time to kick for Saskatchewan. Let's go through Dexter McCoyle's day so far, and it's not over.
Well, a pretty good day for Dexter McCoyle. 6 tackles, a sack, an interception. But this is the one play that may stick in his mind the most. He's filling in for an injured Pat Watkins for a couple plays at the corner. That touchdown pass to Corey Williams over his head.
Josh Bartel with a dribbler down to Kendall Lawrence. 48-yard kick. Loads of time left here in this Western semifinal. The Eskimos leading by 8 points. Heat. Icy cold night in Edmonton. Action heating up on the field. John Chick heating up. Long field for the Eskimos. Mike Riley. Far side for Nate Kuhorn. Close to a first down. It'll be second down and manageable for the Eskimos.
Well, all sorts of individual battles going on the field today, and one of the most physical has been between John Chick and right tackle Thaddeus Coleman. They've been going at it all day on the right side of your screen. You see the two of them getting after it, getting in each other's faces. There's been some pushing and shoving, some barking after plays. This is what playoff football is all about. A little bit physical and a whole lot of nasty.
And again, two teams where the hatred is palpable, considering they have not played in a playoff game since 2004. But they've played a lot against each other lately because of the schedule. 4th time in 7 weeks. And as Ricky Foley told us yesterday, I'm just getting tired of playing.
Yeah, it builds up. It absolutely builds up. The way the schedule is set up, you get a lot of divisional matchups, and just the way it's wound up between these two teams. And based on the outcome last week, it'll be less than a yard to go here for the Edmonton Eskimos. But because of the outcome last week, they now end up meeting again this week in the playoffs with a whole lot more on the line.
So 3rd and inches. Here's the issue again. Mike Riley, who has this foot injury. Normally, you might have a Pat White to come in as well in this situation to save the pounding that Riley might take on a plunge.
Yeah, very limited options for the Edmonton Eskimos here today.
He goes forward, though, and has the first down.
In terms of trying to move that pocket around and do some of the things that they typically do offensively with a healthy Mike Riley. You know, I mean, Matt Nichols doesn't do the same things in terms of the run game especially, but also those options to run or throw when you get him out on the perimeter. I mean, Nichols is going to throw. He's not going to run. And you could have run some of that stuff with Pat White. Pat White out due to injury. Justin Goltz has picked things up very quickly, Chris Jones says, but he's only been here a couple of days. I don't know if this is the situation you want to throw him in.
I've not seen Riley on the move really so far. It's just been drop and throw like that. It's a deep shot, though. Looking for Devin Bailey, Tyron Brackenridge. Blanketing him. Mike Riley, a few years ago, was a 3rd-string quarterback with the BC Lions, and since coming to Edmonton, has done remarkable things.
Yeah, a big part of the turnaround. They struggled last year, but there was little question that Mike Riley was going to be front and center in terms of the rebuilding process. And you see with the arrival of Chris Jones, what Riley was able to accomplish. 12-3 as a starter this season.
Temperature now down to -18. Those sitting in the stands here. Movement on the line. Tony Washington looked like he may have moved. Mike Riley gives him a tap.
Procedure, Edmonton number 58. Still 2nd down.
That last graphic you showed with Mike Riley, you see the other name on that list, Jonathan Crompton. Keep in mind, wasn't too long ago he was a 3rd and 4th string quarterback here in Edmonton.
I mean, it's funny to think here on semifinal Sunday, the Edmonton Eskimos had 4 quarterbacks last season. 3 of them started today, and Mike Riley's the 4th, so all 4 of them seeing action.
Riley, quick hitter. Kendall Lawrence springs another one. Very close to a first down. Would have to get near the 34-yard line. Got 14, needed 15.
A little doubt. If they're close, the Edmonton Eskimos will go for it. But a long yard, and the punt team comes out.
Here they come.
Not taking any chances in this field position.
It's become a battle of field position, Dwayne, almost midway through this 4th quarter. Weston Dressler goes back near his 35-yard line. It's up to the former U of Alberta star, Hugh O'Neill. A great job kicking the football. Again, angling him out of bounds on a 41-yard boot. Still an 8-point game in Edmonton. In Edmonton, quite a ball game. What ebb and flow in this one. Saskatchewan Roughriders still in it. Good protection this time. Now it closes for Sinceri. And a penalty flag, likely a holding call here. That's why he had so much time.
A flag in that territory. Play of that nature.
Illegal block, ends to the face. Saskatchewan number 68. That penalty's declined. 2nd down.
going to matter. That will be declined as well.
Chris Getzlaff usually times up that waggle motion.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 89. Penalties decline. Third down.
Usually times it up very well, then you're kind of asking yourself, was he offside there? On this one.
Look at Odell Willis playing referee. So a game, if you're just joining us, that Edmonton completely dominated defensively in the first half with a number of interceptions. Kerry Joseph tied a CFL record, dubious distinction, throwing 5 picks in a playoff game. Just when the Riders looked like they were lost, they've sprung back to life here. Thanks to their own good defense. And the fact the Eskimos have not been able to convert turnovers into points. John White, the Wolfman, returns.
And there you see the yards per game, and John White would have received a whole lot more attention if not for the remarkable numbers posted by John Cornish. Both backs played just 9 games this season. But you see the gap in yards per game between John White at 94.7 and even Anthony Allen in 3rd place at 71. Impressive year, over 100 yards here today against the Riders.
100 hard-working yards today. Nothing spectacular, just solid. Now Darius Bowman on an island. Big gain. Gets a good block and is sprung for a first down. 17-yard gain. 5th catch.
The Eskimos have had all sorts of trouble throwing the football here today, but they find a way to get it into the hands of Darius Bowman. He's going to motion all the way out. That leaves Kendall Lawrence as the lead blocker on the outside. A different twist on the bubble screen with that motion coming from the opposite side. Nice cut block on the inside as well. Good job by the Eskimo receivers helping each other out.
And as much as Tino Sinceri sparked the Riders, John White plows up the middle. How about Mike Riley? If indeed his foot is broken, this could be legendary stuff.
Bobby Bond.
Yes, it is.
The hockey fans out there, Mike Riley. You don't see him doing a whole lot of running or jogging, even when he carries out his bootleg fakes after a handoff and so on. It's still kind of at half speed. So he hasn't really had to open it up or test that foot out yet.
And 2nd down 3. He's going to throw. Riley fires. Catch made. Kendall Lawrence. Right at the first down marker. And now Riley's into it.
A great diving stab here by Kendall Lawrence.
Riley wants them to huddle up right away, or not huddle up, but get right to the line of scrimmage. He wants to hurry up.
Yeah, well, there may be an element of don't give them a chance to challenge a close one either.
Well, I don't know. I think this is a good catch. I don't think this is challengeable. I don't know if you want to throw one. What a catch by Lawrence. So they'll bring out the sticks here to measure. We've often talked about Mike Riley, particularly last year. 4-14 season, all the hits he took, and they're going to be short again. Millimeters. With a heart this guy has.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Riley, you know, I mean, when people ask about players in the CFL and what certain guys are like, Mike Riley was one of those guys from the first time we talked to him in BC, and he was a backup quarterback, getting a little bit of playing time.
He had it.
You had a sense that this guy was going to be a special player in this league once given the opportunity. He got that opportunity with the Edmonton Eskimos last year, and has just continued to grow from there.
Even he did not know yesterday if he would play. Here it is. Key 3rd down. And goes forward. Looks like he had enough. 5 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Eskimos continue to drive. Key for the Eskimos to get in scoring position, make it a 2-possession ball game.
Well, and I suspect a little bit that with Mike Riley at quarterback, it really becomes a ball control type offense. Everything they're doing in terms of throwing the ball, you watch Riley, he's not dropping back. Everything's out of shotgun, and he may take 1 or 2 steps and set and throw, but that's about it. So it's not going to be a deep passing game here. It's going to be a quick game.
Turning, Mike Riley does, spinning and handing it off to John White. And this is not the way Mike Riley plays, by the way.
No, I mean, so much of what Mike Riley does is he's on the move. He's outside. He's threatening the edges a little bit. But again, that is not an option. But Mike Riley, playing a different game, he's showing his versatility and his maturity as a quarterback, but he's still been effective.
Adapting. And right now, the key for Riley and the Eskimos, they've eaten up, they've chewed up 3 minutes on the clock. With an 8-point lead, hoping to travel down Highway 2 to Calgary next week. Riley now has to move, and he's going down. And you can see that lack of ability right there for Mike Riley. Normally, he would be able to get out of that pocket.
Looks like the signal will be in.
Holding. Edmonton number 68. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
3rd down, and what a play for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to get them out of field goal position, and at the very worst, are going to get some good field position after the punt.
Yeah, the latest round of that Chick-Coleman battle goes decisively to John Chick. Great push-pull move to get to the inside and get to the Eskimo quarterback. As you said, knock him down and turn to that field position.
One of the biggest plays for the Roughriders, keeps it a 1-possession game. Short kick this time by Hugh O'Neill. This should be no yards. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. 9 sacks in the ball game, 6 for Edmonton, 3 for Saskatchewan, 2 by John Chick. That one was gigantic. Getting close to the 3-minute warning. Riders are still breathing here.
No yards. Edmonton number 40. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Leon Lacey, the special teams tackle leader with 29 on the season in the CFL.
He's been a force on those cover teams all year. Going to stay in for some reps now on defense. The rotation at end.
From their 24, 1st and 10, floating it out, and making the catch and picking up big yards is Brett Swain with a huge play up near the midfield stripe.
Brett Swain had a pretty good year for these Roughriders, one of the new receivers this season. A big play there to pick up huge yardage.
Moving it to the midfield stripe, we move it to the 3-minute warning. Great one here. 18-10, Edmonton.
And a couple of big catches for this team this season. Perhaps none bigger than this one. Great protection from the O-line. Swain's on that out route. Turns it upfield for a 30-yard gain to basically negate the last Hugh O'Neill punt and put the Riders out near midfield here, trailing by 8, just under 3 minutes to go.
27,000 strong here. Thousands have made the trek from Saskatchewan. Protection again for Rob Bag. Another 1st down. A big hit on the far sideline by Aaron Grimes, but Tino Sinceri continues to perform some wizardry here off the bench.
I can't say enough, regardless of how the remainder of this football game goes, about how impressed I've been with Tino Sinceri, a guy who's experienced the ups and downs, highs and lows in terms of emotion this season. An opportunity to start, found himself replaced by Seth Daggy. Eventually they bring in Kerry Joseph, who finds himself pulled from games. But now, given an opportunity on the big stage, Tino Sinceri's showing up big time.
They bring the house. Look out! Throwing it away. Probably, again, either an illegal block or a holding call as the blitz was coming. No bluffing that time from the Eskimos. They brought everybody.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 57. 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
So still 1st down. 2:14 remains. Inside Edmonton territory, the 54-yard line.
Even on that last play, though, Sinceri with a blitzer in his face just sidesteps it calmly, throws the ball, avoids the sack, throws the ball away, looking to protect the yardage, making a good decision.
Sinceri fires and knocking it down. Brett Swain. It'll be second and long now. Shimuwamba down there, Alonzo Lawrence.
And I wondered if Alonzo Lawrence might have grabbed the arm of Swain. He's trying to make that break. Lawrence has got a pretty good grip on him there. Surprised not to see a little more protest from the Saskatchewan receiver on that one, but Saskatchewan's in a situation. They've lost the challenge in this game. They've used a timeout already.
They have thrown the challenge flag, however, Mr. Ford. This might be a more successful challenge. Lost one already. And they just tossed it. So they are going to challenge this DPI, defensive pass interference possibility here. There's Darian Durant.
Saskatchewan is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. They believe that a defensive pass interference occurred on the play. The play will be reviewed.
Do they have a point, Dwayne?
Well, this is one where you can make an argument that he was impeded from getting to the football. You don't see it so much at the tail end of the play, but just earlier as the ball's in the air.
Right here.
Yeah, there you see the grab. It'll be an interesting call. Saskatchewan's got to feel pretty confident to risk their timeout in this kind of game, in this situation, to throw that flag.
Well, a game that began with Kerry Joseph at quarterback, Darian Durant unable to play, not even able to suit up. Tino Sinceri, who's had some time at quarterback with the Riders. Now, this challenge on this play could also change the complexion of this game.
Again, you saw a little argument from Brett Swain, but I mean, there's an element of discipline to that as well, because you get a flag for lobbying for a flag. We've already seen that once in this ball game.
The Edmonton Eskimos, again, forcing so many turnovers. Not getting enough points, though. And the Roughriders have hung around. The winner heads to Calgary for the Western Final next week. We have the answer.
After review, there's not enough evidence to change the ruling on the field. It is an incomplete pass. Saskatchewan is charged a timeout. It will be second down.
As you mentioned, a gutsy challenge flag thrown. You lose a timeout now in an 8-point ball game.
Taking a shot. They're ruling that's just the jam by Alonzo Lawrence. He rode him to the outside on the jam. And that's the call.
Second and 20 now. Have to get inside the 35-yard line. Sinceri now stepping up and sacked. Once again, Gregory Alexandra's there. 2:03 to go. They'll punt it away.
What a monster day it's been for Gregory Alexandra. The pursuit from the behind. Gets a hand on that right arm of Sinceri and yanks him down.
Two players onside here. Possible onside kick. Alonzo Lawrence. was able to field that football, but they did put 2 players onside.
Yeah, going for that sky-high kick out to the wide side. Trying to make a play. We saw that from the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the wind last week.
The way the Hamilton Tiger Cats did it last week, makes you wonder why more teams don't do that, the way that was working for them. So they'll sort this out. Saskatchewan hoping for a stop here, get the football back, try to force OT. Touchdown and a 2-point convert.
If you look outside, back around the 35-yard line, they're the 2 onside players. They're timing it up to make sure that they stay behind. You'll see them with the stutter step to stay behind Bartel at the time the ball's kicked. He's kicking it short and high to try and get those guys under there. Odell Willis, good heads-up play from the veteran at the line of scrimmage. He's telling the guys, they're onside. Those guys out wide are onside. Get on them.
Those players being exempt from the 5-yard rule can actually recover the football as well.
And a good heads-up play by Alonzo Lawrence, who wasn't one of the deep returners, but he was in position to catch the ball. He knows you don't want to let that thing hit the ground with those 2 players coming down, able to recover it. So he fields it in the air and draws a no yards flag as well.
Andre Prue getting some help from command here. And again, Mike Riley, who did not start this game, listed as questionable this week. And is off the sidelines and into the fray in the second half. No flag.
There is no infraction on the play. Saskatchewan, number 21, was the only one inside a 5-yard radius, and he was onside on the play. So it will be first down Edmonton.
And that's a good call, not only by Andre Prue, but command. And if you don't have it on the field, get it from command in the video replay where they can clearly see who was onside.
Exactly. Needed to take a look back to ensure which player was inside that 5-yard radius. Paul Waldo, the guy flagged, was one of the onside players allowed to be within that radius.
A minute 44 to go. Eskimos get a couple first downs. They can salt it away. The Riders get a stop here. Can make it even more interesting. Lawrence far side. Good tackle there from Macho Harris. Macho Harris keeps that gain to about 3 yards. So now one of the biggest plays in the game for the Saskatchewan D.
And you'll see Kendall Lawrence, he's coming in motion, but watch the timing of the block here, a little bit risky. Devin Bailey might have been a hair early with that block, which could draw a flag.
Second down and 7. Puts his players in motion. Play action. Flex it out. Calvin McCarty first down.
And that's about as much rolling out as we've seen from Mike Riley to this point to make this play happen. Calvin McCarty, the fullback's going to come across the formation into the flat. Riley off play action is going to fade to his right a little bit here.
Here's where that challenge becomes critical for Saskatchewan, losing it because they can't stop the clock here with no timeouts left. A minute remaining in this 4th quarter.
And there you see the offensive coordinator, Steve McAdoo, guy who's had a great season, quite frankly, calling the plays for the Edmonton Eskimos, particularly here today.
This should just about do it. Down to 45 and down to the 45-yard line. John White, all the Eskimos have to do now is hang on to the football. And we will rekindle another battle of Alberta.
And, you know, talking about the job done by Steve McAdoo, that Eskimos got it done with their limitations. At quarterback, Mike Riley can't be the Mike Riley we've seen for the last 2 years. But Steve McAdoo calling the plays has put him in a position to be effective and close out this ball game.
They're going to victory formation. They count it down here in Edmonton. The Saskatchewan Roughriders gave them a scare here in this ball game.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders gave them all they could handle. In a game where the Riders had 4 first-half turnovers, but their defense hung tough and held the Eskimos to just 4 points on those turnovers.
Well, a limping, almost lame Mike Riley comes into this game and will finish it off. The Edmonton Eskimos are heading down the road to Calgary. Bring on the Battle of Alberta. Bring it on. 18-10 the final.
Simply put, the legend of Mike Riley grows a little bit larger here in northern Alberta. Hobbling on 1 foot, comes off the bench with momentum starting to slip away from his team. Comes on to do enough to close things out for the green and gold.
The road to the Grey Cup, 2 weeks away. We'll go through Hamilton and we'll go through Calgary. What a story carved here tonight by Mike Riley again. The Eskimos win the West Division semifinal, 18-10 over the Saskatchewan.